This is the free motion quilting tutorial for woven lines. This design is stitched by first creating a set of triangle shapes along your quilting space. Now I'm only going to stitch one single triangle in this quilting space, but if you had a longer space such as sashing or borders, then you could of course take that zigzag all the way down your space. Now the next step is to travel inside of this area, and you're just going to stitch back and forth lines working on one side of the triangle. So you can see I'm just taking these lines back and forth, just emphasizing that angle of the triangle. Once you finish up that whole section, and it is fairly time consuming when you're stitching it this small, if you stitch it a lot bigger then it doesn't take nearly as much time. Once you finish with that, you're going to travel stitch and you're going to get over here and you're going to echo the opposite side. So you have lines going in one direction and then you have lines going in another direction. And this creates a really interesting effect because where the lines match up, they create, kind of two different directions where one is shooting off kind of in one diagonal and these are shooting off in a different diagonal. And it just looks really, really nice. When you stitch this in your quilt, you probably want to keep this in an area that's fairly narrow and very open. You wouldn't want to try and match this up around a motif, something in the center, simply because it'd be a real pain to try and hop, skip, and jump around something, matching up these lines. If you start worrying about keeping your lines straight, you can always mark your starting triangle shapes. That's perfectly fine. There's really not, it doesn't look bad if it's a little off. That's perfectly fine. Now once you finish one set, then I've just travel stitched over here and I'm filling in this section too, so that way it's consistent. And you can start to see what this texture looks like, having the triangles on one side angle in one direction and the triangle, and then the other side the lines angle in the opposite. And here's what it looks like when you finish woven lines. For over 250 videos on free motion quilting just like this one, go to daystyledesigns.com.